So I just got back from the Duskmourn Prerelease, and it was a lot of fun. So what I want to do is make a short video going over the deck that I played, my experience at the pre-release, and we're also going to open up some of these prize packs that I won. We got 6 prize packs here, so it went pretty well. I do this with a lot of sets that come out with the pre-releases, just kind of do a little deck tech for the deck that I played, talk about the pre-release, and hopefully open up some prize packs if we got some. So it was a good pre-release. I managed to go 3-0. It was only 3 rounds, but this is the deck that I played. It's a green-black deck. Maybe there are some cards here that you're taking a look at that you can see obviously why I went into these colors, but we're gonna get to those. So we'll start off with the 1-drops here. I had this one, Valgavoth's Faithful. This card seems really good to me. So it's a 1/1 for 1, but for just 4 mana, you can sack it and bring a creature back from your graveyard. You activate it as a sorcery, but that's okay. But that's a fairly low cost for that effect, and I did get to kind of live the dream where I played this on turn 1. I surveilled a giant creature into the graveyard, and then I just brought it back on turn 4, and yeah, it felt pretty awesome. Some 2-drops here, got a couple Innocuous Rats. These, I was uncertain about how these would be, because when I put them in my deck, I was kind of feeling like it would just be like a 1/1 for 2 that would feel really bad. But these kind of, they did impress me, and a lot of the time I just wanted this creature to die, just so that I could Manifest Dread, because there are some... Manifest Dread is kind of cool in this set, because it's a lot different than just Manifest was in the past, because it also allows you to dump stuff into your graveyard, and there are things that... There's a lot of synergies going along with it too. I have some synergistic cards here that we're going to get to, but yeah, these were better than I thought they would be. There's a couple of Wary Watchdogs here. These are just aggressive creatures. They're also quite good to smooth out your draws also, actually. So, you know, a 3/1 for 2, but when it enters, you surveil, and when it dies, you surveil. So, this is, you know, this card, I like it a lot, actually. You know, I'm just looking at how things get pushed over time, because I remember there was a time when just a 3/1 for 2 was the standard, and that was perfectly playable. But now they've added, when it enters, you surveil 1. But now also, when it enters or dies, you surveil 1. So, you know, cards just keep getting better. Then there was this thing, Brood Spinner. This was very good. Like, this is a really good uncommon. 2 mana, 2/3. Those are great stats. It has Reach also. You surveil 2 when it enters. And it has another ability. You can pay 6, tap and sack it to make a 1/1 black and green flying insect equal to the number of different card types among cards in your graveyard. And I did actually, this was quite important. I won a game with this by filling up my graveyard with 5 different card types. Just on my opponent's end step, went sack this, on my turn swing at you with a bunch of 1/1 flyers, and that was good enough. So yeah, that card was really good. There's this card, Unstoppable Slasher. This is a very popular rare, it seems, from the set, but yeah, I see why this card is quite good now. You know, you play this on turn 3. If this gets in for damage on turn 4, it's going to do 11 damage, essentially, because you're going to do 2 damage to the opponent, they'll be at 18, and then it's going to trigger, they'll lose half their life rounded up, so they're going to lose 9 more. So you've done 11 damage just with this one thing, and then it can just keep on coming back. So yeah, I get why that card's good. Attack in the Box is cool. This was actually really good. So it's a 2/4 for 3 in colorless. Those are really good stats for just a colorless creature you can play in any deck. But then you can also give it +4/+0 when it attacks. You sacrifice it on the next end step, but +4/+0 is a big boost. You know, you can get in for a big hit once if you want that. And I actually even just used this once, attack, and use its ability just because I wanted to sacrifice it to put an artifact in my graveyard to turn on Delirium. So that was pretty cool. There was this card, Cryptid Inspector. So I initially had 2 of these in my deck, but I brought it down to 1. It does seem quite good. I was more impressed with this than I thought it would be. So it's a 2/3 for 3, so the stats are not great to start off with. It does have Vigilance, but whenever a face-down permanent you control enters, and whenever this or another permanent you control is turned face-up, you'd put a +1/+1 counter on it. And with Manifest Dread, that works really well, because, you know, you manifest something that puts a face-down thing into play, so you put a counter on it, but then also when you turn that face-up, you'll put another counter on it. So you can be putting a lot of counters on this thing. It is better than I thought it would be. Couple of really good rares here. So this was my pre-release promo, the Head Shredder here. Yeah, this card is quite good. You know, a 4 mana 5/5 vehicle. It crews for only 1, but then when it attacks, you can mill 2, and whenever 1 or more land cards are put into your graveyard from the library, put them into play tapped. Well, that works out really well with things like Surveil and Manifest Dread. That's one of the reasons why Manifest Dread is a lot better than just Manifest, because, you know, you can also look at 2 cards, put one of them into the graveyard, one into play. If the one that you put in the graveyard is a land, well, that's going to work with this. So some cool synergistic stuff going on. And usually, so I have this laid out with like creatures and non-creatures. Usually I don't like to include vehicles in with my creatures, but this crew's for just 1. So it was pretty easily going to be a creature. And then this one was super good too. The Swarm Weaver, another rare 4-drop. So it's a 2/3. But then when it enters, you make 2 insects with flying. And then if you have Delirium, your insects and spiders get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. And that was really important. That was why I wanted to turn on Delirium with just sacking my attack in the box to make my insects bigger so they could attack in. And it's cool that this also buffs up spiders because it makes this thing a little bit bigger too. So this is quite a good rare. Had 1 Bashful Beastie. It's a, pretty standard card. It's a 5/4 for 5, so decent stats. And then when it dies, you manifest Dread. I kind of like it's a good card. And then mainly the reason I wanted to play this was for manifest Dread because I have some things that want me to be, putting like Cryptid Inspector here, want me to put face down things into play, and then also with the other synergies. So, I just having manifest Dread on things seems quite good. This was awesome. This Altanak, the Thrice Called. This was the thing where I got to surveil this into the graveyard on like turn 2 or something. And then I got to reanimate it with my 1-drop on turn 4. A 9/9 trample. And then also you can draw cards when your opponent tries to kill it. You can even discard it to return a land to play. I never did that. But yeah, a 9/9 trample with upside for 7 is quite good. And this one Spectral Snatcher, mainly for the swamp cycling actually, which I did do. But also, if you don't cycle it, it's a 6/5 for 6. Has a bit of protection there, so it's a decent card. And the rest was mostly just removal. There was quite a lot of removal. I had so much removal, I didn't even play all of it. First, this card, though. This card felt really good. I wasn't sure about this initially, but every time I played this, it felt great. Threats around the corner. So 4 mana enchantment. It says, when it enters, you manifest Dread. And then whenever a face-down permanent you control enters, search your library for basic and put it into play tapped. So you'll play this, you'll manifest Dread, and that's going to trigger its second thing. So basically for this, you get a 2/2 and a basic into play tapped. But this also, there was some cool stuff going on where I had this and this in play. And if I ever manifested Dread, like say my Innocuous Rat died, what I would be able to do is look at the top 2 cards. I would just pick a land out of them, put that into the graveyard. That would come back into play for this, so I would get a free land. But then the other card that I actually manifest comes into play face down, so I get another land from this. So that was some cool synergy, and I liked this card quite a bit. There was this one, the Meat Hook Massacre 2. Obviously this card is amazing, but I cast this 0 times the entire night, and it wasn't because of the colored mana restriction. I actually could have cast it several times, but just didn't, because I guess, I just was fortunate enough to have a good enough board state where I didn't actually want to wipe the board. But yeah, Meat Hook, it's obviously going to be really good. A whole bunch of removal here. So, Final Vengeance, I wasn't sure about this at first, but, just 1 mana, exile something, that's going to be good. There's this Monstrous Emergence, once again, good removal. It's a sorcery, but that's alright. Murder is murder, it's being printed a bunch of times. Sporogenic Infection was really cool, actually. At first, I was reading this as, like, I have to enchant my opponent's creature, and then they sack one of the other creatures. I was like, okay, that seems decent, I'll play it, it's removal. But then, as I was playing, I realized I can put this on my creature. So, because it says, when it enters, target player sacrifices a creature other than enchanted creature. So you target your creature, but for the player, you target your opponent. So your opponent has to sacrifice a creature other than the creature which you enchanted, so they just have to sack their guy, so that works out well. And then it also works well with Final Vengeance, because then, you can just sack your Sporogenic Infection to cast this. A couple of Winter's Intervention. This card has been, cards like this have been printed many times, like Sorin's Thirst, I think. Things like that, where you do 2 and you gain 2. And this one, I liked this card, actually, Haunted Screen. It's cool that it taps for black or white, like a black or white movie kind of thing. But it gets a 3-mana mana rock, but also it can be a 7/7. You pay 7, you make it into a big creature, which I did multiple times. So I think this is a pretty good mana rock for limited, because it kind of fills in the spot of a big creature and also ramping you. A couple of removal spells here, which I didn't even play. Like I said, I had so many that I didn't even play all of them. Bear Trap seems pretty decent. It's just colorless removal. You can play in any deck. And then this one, It's an uncommon 1-mana removal, but I was thinking about this and I decided not to play it because it seemed like there's kind of a big drawback to me, and especially the fact that this is sorcery, because you have to tap your creatures and then they deal damage to a creature an opponent controls, but it's sorcery speed, so a lot of the time with removal, you want to remove your opponent's blocker so you can attack in. But with this, you have to tap your creature in order to be able to kill your opponent's thing, so it's tapped so it can't attack. So, I don't know, that seemed like kind of a pretty big drawback to me, so I didn't even play it, but maybe it's better than I think. Then for lands, it's just swamps and forests. Had this one dual land. I could have just played like 8 swamps, 8 forests, but I went with 9 swamps and 7 forests for, you know, things like mana costs like this. So yeah, it was a fun event. I actually met a couple people who had seen my videos before. So if you're watching this, if YouTube recommends this video to you again, cool. It was nice to meet you. It's always fun meeting people who have seen my videos. So now I'm going to clear this stuff away and we're going to open up those prize packs. So as I said, it was 3 rounds. I was fortunate enough to go 3-0. So for that, we got 6 packs here that we're going to open up. Maybe we'll get something cool. So these are play boosters. Okay, I have not opened any Duskmourn play boosters yet. Well, I guess I have because I had to make my pre-release deck. But outside of that, I've opened a collector booster box. It was quite good actually. So let's see. These ones, I guess they're the Japanese ones. It's a pretty nice signature actually because the cool stuff is up front. Okay, we got our Clockwork Percussionist. We'll put this here. Foil, basic, Zemone, all questioning, there's a rare. Overgrown Zealot. Okay, there's our commons and uncommons. I'd like to get more of the rare dual lands. I think that's a really good cycle of rares, of rare duals. Token, sure, you can go here. Our foil. A Balustrade Worm, what does that do? Can't be countered, 5/5 trample haste. 4 mana, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter, only basically if you have Delirium. And this is sorcery. It's okay. I don't know, it's probably good for limited, but I don't think it's gonna get there in constructed. Okay, we got some stuff. The Scarecrow. 3/2 with haste for 2. And I can get bigger. That seems good. Maybe constructed playable. I like this Gremlin token. I'm a pretty big fan of Gremlins as a creature type. Horrid Vigor. So every time I see that land, I think, yeah, we got a rare dual land, but no, it's just a basic. The Swarm Weaver. Okay, we got another one of those. That's a Meat Hook Massacre too. Another. So I opened a collector box earlier today. I got one of these in it. Then I opened one of these in the pre-release, and now I got one here. So 3 out of 4, 75% of the way to the playset. It's not bad. Okay, what have we got here? A Shard. Coordinated thing. Oh yes. Common dual land. It's a pretty good common cycle there. Split up. 3 mana Wrath. It's pretty decent. Oblivious Bookworm there. Let's see. 2 packs left. Treasure. Seize from Slumber. Keeps on faking me out every time. I think it's the rare duel. Demonic Council. That's probably pretty good. You know, it's very similar to Demonic Tutor, but only if you have Delirium. Otherwise, you can only search for demons with it. But if you can turn on Delirium easily, then it is just a Demonic Tutor. A Rootwise Survivor. And what's our last pack gonna be? Either a rare dual land or a mythic. That'd be sweet. Popular Egotist. Forest. And it's a rare. Ghostly Dancers. Okay. Makes stuff when you play enchantments. And a Haunted Screen. So our big hit for those is going to be the Meat Hook, obviously. And then I think this is probably a pretty decent rare as well. The Tutor there. So yeah, We got some decent stuff from the prize packs as well. Anyway though, if you're still watching, thanks for watching. It'd be cool if you can like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Let me know how your pre-release went. It's always fun to read people's pre-release experiences. You know, pre-release tends to be typically the most fun event that you can go to. So people often have, you know, some pretty good pre-release stories. So let me know in the comments below how yours went. And also, everyone should come join my Discord server. You can find a link to that in the video description below. In the video description, you'll also find a link to my store where you can buy custom playmats like this from the Snug and Dave store. And also, I'd just like to take a moment to thank all the patrons that support me on Patreon. But otherwise though, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.